I'm Layla. Welcome to raidlore Stories. Today's lore story is going for Vizug the Noxious, who happens to be the new Unity Warlord champion for the Ogren tribe. He does look really cool. I really like how with these Warlord Unity champs, they make the bobs their feet glow, and then they also give them basically the banners, right? That even though they don't exactly match the full faction, they're meant to, be a part, like a tribe or a grouping in that faction. So let's check out his lore story. I'm really curious what this one's gonna be like. The idea of Ogren forming a grand empire or a disciplined rank and file army is seen by most as absurd. Yet on rare occasions of historic need, multiple Ogren tribes have self-assembled into hierarchical organizations. Held together by ties of threats and violence as much as any oath or sense of duty, these mighty mega-tribes have proven capable of changing history, but have never outlived the events that triggered them, burning out and collapsing inward like a dying star. The outsized battlefield presence of Ogren played an important role in the vengeful campaigns of the Gallon Pact. The Gallon War saw the rise of one of the greatest Ogren leaders ever known, Vizug the Noxious, Despoiler of Anhalt, Bone Hoarder of the West, the Crusher of Elves, and Slayer of Humans. Along with his wife, Bruzor, the most prodigious, Vizug ruled over an isolated branch of the Bonegrinder's tribe. He's respected for his collection of numerous ancestral tusks, which he wore at all times. He can name the Ogren from which each one was pried after death and recount their valorous, destructive deeds, stretching back to his earliest forebears by running his squat finger over their various chips and tally marks. His keen memory made him a lore keeper and sage, often called upon to judge quarrels. He backed his verdicts with his mighty fists and weighty cleaver. He had few compunctions about hacking apart any who disobeyed or threatened him and displaying their bloody bones around his tent. Still, Vizug left the violent business of raiding and mercenary work to Bruzar, while he tended to his tusk and dabbled in alchemy. When the Gallon Pact called for warriors, Vizug reacted with a shrug, but Bruzar, who had long urged him to make something great of himself, spurred him into taking more initiative with verbal harangues and stinging smacks. The Bone Grinders marched down from their territory in the Cloudspire Mountains to the Sorrow Lakes, mingling with orcs, skinwalkers, lizardmen, and ogren from across Teleria. Vizug had never been to Anhalt and knew of the deadly persecution of his kin, there only through hearsay, and quickly grew incensed hearing tales of whole-scale murder and torture propagated by the Red Crusaders. Thinking back upon the valiant deeds of his tusk-bearing ancestors, Vizug internalized Bruzar's long-standing demands. When he learned that his bone-grinder cousins in Anhalt had been almost completely exterminated, that their bodies had been burned with their tusks, and his line was practically the last of his people, he thirsted for righteous vengeance. As the Gallon leaders began lengthy preparations to sail to Anhalt in force, Vizug consulted with lizardmen venom mages versed in creating toxic hunting compounds. He also learned from orc and skinwalker refugees of a siege weapon used in Anhalt, consisting of a combustible tar-like substance that was launched over walls into flammable structures. From these sources, he devised a hybrid substance, for which he earned the dubious title of the Noxious. Sticky, acidic, poisonous, and inextinguishable, even under water when lit, those who witnessed Vizug's test declared, with mixed glee and fear, that burning alive in its embrace would be one of the worst ways to die. When at last the Gallon warfleet sailed, Vizug happily put that theory to the test. His Avenge Fire, as he called it, was the hideous end to numerous Telerian League sailors and their ships. After the Gallons made landfall in Anhalt, ranks of knights in gleaming armor, proud magi in immaculate robes, and footmen, taking cover behind massive tower shields, were helpless after Vizug doused them with his compound, and their agonized screams were added to the cacophony of battle. Wherever he fought, great plumes of black, oily smoke rose high above the battlefield, and an acrid stench of harsh chemicals and burning flesh could be smelled for miles. More and more Ogren flocked to Vizug and Bruzer's banner. Vizug proved to be a leader of lordly caliber far in excess of what he could previously demonstrated, ruling over a small and lonely tribal offshoot. The wisdom of the ancestors whose tusks adored his war gear guided him, and his rousing speeches lingered in the ears and hearts of his followers. That most improbable of things, a lasting unified Ogren polity, could perhaps have come to pass under Vizug and Bruzer's rule had the Gallons succeeded, but their invasion was pushed back. When news of Sacred Order warriors capturing a cache of Venge fire reached Vizug, he was horrified. When he witnessed them unleashed on his own people during the retreat, he was devastated. He and Bruiser escaped the carnage, led many ogre survivors to the safety of Peltos, a great wilderness. But with Vizug's confidence shattered by his and the Gallon's failure, their coalition collapsed like so many before it. Wow. Okay. I gotta say, I didn't really expect this in a story for this champion. And it's interesting that they talk about another champ here. They talk about Bruzard, the most prodigious, who's not in the game, but they say that she's his wife. And so we kind of see that like little bits here and there in the game, where when they've done that, they've been champs in the game. Like we've kind of seen that insinuated with Gallic and Zargala. We've also seen that with some other of the champs too. But this one, she's not in there. So that makes me think if maybe they'll add her eventually. But what do you guys think of this story for Vizug the Noxious? Again, he is the Ogre, like Unity Warlord champ. I would love to know what you guys think. Drop me a comment down below, and thanks for watching.